Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much for inviting me here for this keynote. I choose to share with you the French strategy and the work that I'm doing in my lab. This French strategy results for many years. So the title of my presentation is "One Industry Takes Over Construction: French Strategy and Example of Results." My presentation was done. The content of my presentation will be: what is Industry 4.0? This term came from where? What is the French context? I will be very quick in some slides because there is a lot of results what was presented yet on the situation of construction in the world, and the situation in construction in France is the same in Canada, in Japan, in any other places. But I will focus more on how France see the future for the construction, and I will spoke about smart projects in France and mega projects in France. Some Lille lab industrial research area will explain what we are doing there in Lille in the north of France, and an example of research lab. And we are focusing more and more on robotization, industrialization of construction linked to energy and linked to environment. Some results on blockchain very quickly, and the link with the productivity in construction. So this is the construction context in France. It is the same in the world. Perhaps a specificity in France. There is more than 1,300,000 persons working in this sector, which as human resources and the impact of any social impact is extremely important to take in account. Another thing which is specified to France is the total construction sales, and we see that France is one of the leader in this field, with some company very well known in the world: Vinci, Bouygues, Lafhaj, and so on. So when you see in Europe, you see France, Spain, England, and these countries are leading in this sector of construction. So the two words that I would like if I've tried to be efficient, there is two words which are important in the future for France: decarbonation, the first word, and the second word is renovation. Decarbonation and renovation. All the guides of the work that we are doing is in that. So a lot of law, a lot of regulation for energy, for environment, based on decarbonation and based on renovation. So we have what we call RE 2025, and we have RE also 2050, which are these rules that impose us this view. I choose to speak about one of the leaders of architecture, Le Corbusier, who is a French-Swiss architect, known as Le Corbusier. His real name is Charles Edward, and you can find a lot of video YouTubes, which are very, very interesting. He said, since many years before, that big industry is taking over the buildings industry, which is extremely important. Now we are in this area of the link between industry and construction. And we can see here in 1950, one of the vulgarization magazine speaking about modular construction, but we don't call it modular construction, we call it prefabrication. And I hope that we understand, all of us, that there is a big difference between prefabrication and modular construction, which is very important. Some words we can use: off-site construction, but I prefer using modular construction. So the history of prefabrication, modular construction, and the impact of robotization and these new challenges linked to environment, linked to carbon, are extremely important. Change the world. So what does it mean Industry 4.0 in academic point of view? 4.0 is 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. It is a revolution. It is the first one, the first industrial revolution. The second one, the second industrial revolution. The third one is third industrial revolution, and the fourth one is we are in it. When we say revolution, it means that we forgot all the past and we began new things. And all this industrial revolution are linked usually to the energy. We discover the coal, we discover electricity, we discover the new energy, and we are now working more and more on to find the industrialization of the fission and not in the fission. So I don't believe that there is Industry 5.0 because it is not 5.0, 6.0, 7.0. It is linked really to a kind of discovering a new energy. And the new energy that we are working on it now, it is fission. The last results were from ITER, from in France, which is a world lab, where we pass from theory to lab about 3 or 5 minutes possibility in the lab. All the scientists think that it will be in 2060 or 2070 that we can discover fission. Fission is different than fission. Fission is nuclear. You have two atoms, you have one atoms, and you cut the atoms. This is a fission. And fission is the opposite. You have two atoms, and you make the contact between two atoms, and this is the fission. And we have an example for us. We can see it daily. The sun is the fission system. So the idea is that when we can industrialize, when we can find this fission, a lot of lab working on that in China, in South Korea, in the world, in Japan, because this will be kind of sources extremely important. So please, Industry 4.0, each country have his own strategy. Germany call it Industry 4.0, but any other country have its own strategy, and I will give you some example for that. There is some ranking on which country is extremely well in the Industry 4.0. Let's say the example. So we can see here the Singapore is number 1, Switzerland, Finland, etc. And we can see France, we are ranked 16. And this ranking is based on some indicators, some factor as basic enablers, driving forces, Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 specific enablers, demand factor, technological sophistication, and enterprise excellence and innovation aptitude. And these factors are extremely important. Example, in France, we have some TGV, we have some Airbus, we have some good university, we have some strategy. So this is give you the ability. And what is your hope in the future? What France would like to be in the future in 2030, 2050? What Japan would like, what Germany, what China. This is based on your real situation, but it is based also on your history and your culture, and this is really, really important. So, example very quickly, we can see the difference between Switzerland and France. It is example of Industry 4.0 comparison. We cannot compare the area, we cannot compare the population, but it gives you a comparison example in the innovation or in the basic enablers. So this is comparison can say that France want to be more efficient in some sector, and we compare each other with others. Example, the performance level for France, we can see here demand factor, the complexity of the demand. We can see market access, the new technology. We can see fostering of talent. So there is a lot of data which is we can found it, and all this data is existed for any country in the world. Very quick performance level for France, according to the world report. The salary is not very good in France, so we have to perform to attract. The willingness to delay decision making is very important, though. The decision is extremely important. If it is centralized, decentralized, how we can work. And the complexity of the demand is really also something that in France we have to perform. Something important happened, and really it changed the strategy of any country, is the COVID period. This is something that we didn't speak a lot about, but it is really putting a very big change. We see here some data about robotization. There is a sharply acceleration of the use of robots in the world, and mainly in China. The most country who uses the robots is South Korea, then Japan, then Germany, then USA. We, France, we are ranked 15 or 20. We are not using a lot. Italy is using more and more of robots these last years. But China is really making a very big acceleration. It is linked to their strategy of Industry 4.02. The last report that we can find, industrial robot installation in 2023, there is a comparison between the region. This is a comparison that you can see China really increasing this. Europe, Union, good increase. America is less than Europe. So we can see here the ranks, and you can see Marina Bell, president of the International Federation of Robotics. Then you can find this data, which is important because this robotization is linked to the strategy, is linked to the innovation, also is linked to what will happen in the future. Good number of industrial robots worldwide is increasing 10 years per year. This is important to understand. Comparison, I give you some comparison between France and Japan. Look here, the difference is big. When you see example, the support, public and private, in France, the support is mainly public. The support in Japan is private. When you see supply chain, France is centralized. And when you see Japan is decentralization. These indicators are extremely important. So we have to learn from other countries how to perform, how to be more efficient. Go. This is the name of the title of the Industry 4.0 of each country. Germany, they call it Industry 4.0. China, they call it Silk Road, which is a beautiful name, but it is really important. France, we call it l'industrie du futur, the future of the industry. And Japan, they call it Society 4.0. And they don't call it Industry 4.0, 5.0, Society 5.0. And if you look really, this strategy, you can understand a lot about the future of this country, where they want to go, the culture of this country, the weakness of this country, the strongest strength of this country, and the culture and the history, which is very important. And we cannot copy the Industry 4.0 for any country because we have not the same culture, we have not the same history. Germany is different than France. France is different than Belgium. Even we can speak French, both of us. This is very important to understand. Smart project in France. Since the COVID, look to this data, 28,000 company death in France since the COVID. This is an extremely important result. One occupational accident every 2 minutes in France. These results give us the opportunity to change the strategy and to say that there is something happening, and we have to react very quickly. Good news, in France, the construction market is really becoming big and big, despite the fact there is a lot of problems. So the market is something, the problem is another thing. And this is very, very important. And all the data are official data. So project in France, after COVID, the construction sector faces a big crisis, as all of us we know. Meanwhile, major investment policy focused on decarbonization and renovation, the two most important words in France. For any project, research, industrial, regional, national, this is the two main strategies. And this renovation changed totally the strategy of France. And this is important to understand that. So we in our lab, we are working in the renovation. So some example, Ciment Calcia, Mediat, Total Cadran, Montpellier Mediterranean, and Vinci Immobilier. I'll give you some photo for that. You can see this example. First floating wind farm in the Mediterranean. Montpellier urban transport expansion project with smart construction management solution. Saint-Nazaire largest battery energy storage system. And modernization Cement Calcia zero CO2. This is one of the big part project in France linked to decarbonization. And this is the vitrine of the country. Two orientation in France. We can go to smart buildings or offsite modular construction, or both. So example, for the smart building, performance energy efficiency connected to service, real-time management, self-assumption decarbonization, or in this case of the offsite, speed, quality, low carbon industrialization. In our mind in France and in our mind in my lab, in our region, we think that we will face another COVID. So we are working on how to reduce time to work and to be performant. So in our mind, we are working on that. We work in the hypothesis that there is another COVID. So this is really important. So we can hear example structure on business 50% of the market by 2031 for the offsite. And really, the culture in France offsite is really new. Something changed the mentality. Something changed the behavior. It is not, we are not in North America. So this is new, but we are working on the modular construction in France more and more. And the state is helping us for that. Example of the renovation, for example, is we use robotization, digital twin, a lot of things in this renovation example, Notre Dame de Paris. So look to 2006 and 2013, before the renovation, before the problem that we got. Andrew Talon, a Belgian architect, historian working at Vassar College, United States, created a highly accurate 3D model of the entire cathedral using LiDAR laser scanning technology. Thanks to him that we did that. Thanks to the digitalization that was done. 2015, 2020, a French company, Art Graphique and Patrimoine AGP, created a partial beam model. Thanks to that the renovation was done. So this is one of the things that we can be proud about that. Renovation example, Notre Dame. So the Notre Dame, the virtual twin project led by the CNRS, the Ministry of Culture, the Public Restoration Establishment, and the System, included collaborative workshop. Collaborative workshop, it means that we cannot now in the mega projects or the new projects, we cannot only have the solution with technology. We need collaboration. We need a method of collaboration working. It is not only technology. Anyone can master technology, but the technology is usually changing. What we need now, more than technology, is the collaboration method. And there is a lot of collaboration method, mainly of them, IPD, AWP, TVD, a lot of things which exist in the market, and we are doing on it. These workshops held at the Cité de l'Architecture et du Patrimoine probably welcoming students from engineering architecture programs, etc.
Virtual Notre Dame, reconstructed here from a cloud of billions of points captured by a scanner. A 3D model created before the fire, which is proving to be very useful today. In total, nearly 3,000 pieces considered as relics have been collected, cleaned, and cataloged. To assist with the assessment, all the voussoirs are digitized. They had to develop a robot to scan them and meet the needs of archaeologists, historians, and architects. On the digital skeleton of Notre Dame, in the hole caused by the collapse of the spire, the arch of the missing vault and the voussoirs are recreated here in gray.
By analyzing tens of thousands of images, they were able to spot voussoirs in the debris.
Researchers from the CNRS conducted an investigation parallel to the archaeologists' excavation on the ground in the debris that littered the floor before it was cleared away, just as we had filmed it, still in place and scattered a month after the fire. The idea is to study the trajectory of the falling voussoirs, like this one.
Knowing the spot where each voussoir fell will make it easier for us to determine the exact position of each voussoir on the arch. It's an unprecedented opportunity to enrich the knowledge produced by scientists interested in heritage.
So we're at 15 centimeters per second.
The worksite is also an opportunity to test new techniques. Ingenious tinkering to invent new processes. The area where they will play a major role is the framework. And for this colossal task, we have several sources: drawings, plans, photos, and the scanner survey which, luckily, was carried out before the disaster. This way, we can retrace their history. In this animation, you can see the wood from the 19th century in blue, from the 13th century in orange, and in green, those from in between. At Notre Dame, it's a return to the future. And in the limbo of algorithms, the logic of software, it's coming back stronger than ever. Its rebirth is not a fantasy.
Project really is extremely important. It is a source of knowledge, source of science. It is more than 100 articles, scientific articles. Really interesting to join that and to understand what happened. And the results are public, and it is really, really important. Technology and collaborative work which was done for that. So very quick for the lean journey in Notre Dame renovation, because they use lean construction management, some method for that. So you have the fire, you have the start of the first mission, the start of the second mission, and the rooster is back, and the reopening of the cathedral, which was done on time with the main budget. And we're using many new technology, digital twin, robotization, etc., laser, and also collaborative method to reach that. Second, another project really important in France. This project, we call it Microville 112. Microville is micro city in English. This is really important. This is one of the far projects in France where the idea is to build new cities which are autonomy, and there is a proximity in these new cities. It is a new model of sustainable and resilient and management. Microville 120 facilitates the collaboration between public and private stakeholder and citizen, which is important, and not client, through cooperative governance, co-construction process, shared tools, and dynamic of open experimentation, making this project an advanced example of an inclusive and participatory smart city. This Microville durable, you can find it. There is a map for that. So the indicator as the care, learn, access, work, life, and health. This is smart city pilot project integrating advanced digital technology to optimize energy management, comfort, and flexibility of use. This project illustrates the convergence between smart building and off-site construction with a focus on the adaptability, which is extremely important in the future of this world, because we have to adapt to the climate change, example. We have to adapt to the new technology as skills also, of buildings of the new users. As Allianz Sans, Economy's Living Lab, so this Microville 112 is a place of experimenting with tomorrow solution and developing economic common for various sectors. The product and service needed to scale up regenerative business models based on cooperation and the pooling of the sources. The two essential pillars of the service-based and responsible economy, circular and fictional economy, decarbonized and sovereign, which is more and more thanks to the COVID and thanks to many other subjects which is facing nowadays in the world. Another project extremely important in France. Also, it is the renovation based on data and monitoring of Mont Blanc tunnel renovation. This is something incredible, this renovation of this project. They design and they create a new robot specially for that. So this is mastering the technology and the creativity when you are making renovation, and this is really important. So major renovation incorporating advanced monitoring and safety technology. The project involves the renovation of 11 kilometer Mont Blanc tunnel linking France to Italy, connecting the municipality of Chamonix, the Haute-Savoie department, and the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region, France, and the Courmayeur town in the Val d'Aosta region in Italy. There is an invention of a new robot, and that creates stillness. Look to this robot. The robot have a lot of arms because the ground was not very good. And the automated concrete sparing robot has been especially designed to secure the ventilation shafts in the basic tunnel. It can be operating in complete safety by remote control from the platform without the need for an operator to descend in the shafts. An innovative solution for dealing with unforeseen difficulties on the unique Lyon-Turin work site. So robotization have a lot of future have a lot of future in the sector of construction because there is a lot of things we are doing on it. Mega projects now in France. I spoke about some far project. Mega projects in France. You know that the nuclear and thermal production division is France is one of the leader. France has 56 preserved water reactor, most of which has been in service for over 40 years. We are in Lille. Centrale Lille is located in Lille, one hour from Paris by a high-speed train, 30 minutes from Brussels by high-speed train, 1 hour, 20 minutes from London by high-speed train under the channel. And the biggest nuclear factory is near Lille in Europe. And there is a lot of work on this renovation of this nuclear factory. Approximately 36 facility power plant factory research, funding and strategic plan France 2030 plan, more than 1 billion dedicated to SMR also, and 500 million for nuclear R&D also. A lot of work. We are working on the future of mega projects in nuclear factory. When you say nuclear factory, you say that there is 3,000 or 5,000 people working on it. So there is a new cities near the nuclear factory. So there is housing, there is management, there's a lot of things changing. We are very, very happy that Centrale Lille is involved in this kind of project, thanks to engineering research, but also thanks to the proximity of that. SMR is something that you have to know a bit. EDF investment of between 20 to 25 billion euro for the construction of EPR2 reactor, which is prepared for the future. This mega project, digital twin, digitalization and data management, lean construction philosophy with advanced work packaging. There is some specialist on that. Offsite construction inclusion, alliance with stakeholder, IPD, joint contract, public-private approach, training for the new generation. We don't need only technology. We need collaborative method for this mega project. We need training of the people working on that. A lot of need of training because these mega projects are extremely important. So we are working on this mega project until 2050. EPR2, this is another example to give you some idea about that. And as I stress, technology and collaborative method are very important to master for our engineer, for our researcher, and for also our work with our industrial partner. Lille Lab Industrial Research. We work on the 3 axes: robotization, automation, construction, access to IPD, AWP, lean construction, and X3, blockchain and metaverse. These 3 axes are together in the same time. Not robotization working without any collaborative method. And this is really important, that this multidimensional, multidiscipline in the same time in the team. And this is very important. It is the ADN also of Centrale. Example in my lab, 3D printing. We do it in the lab, we do it in the lab, but we do it with Bouygues Construction. We help them to print a house. It was done during even the COVID, as you see, 2021. So we are working from TRL 1 to TRL 9. The idea came from the laboratory and until with our partner. We work with another company, a Spanish company, on making 3D printing with drones. And we're making also a lot of things with the drones. We have our drones. We did that. We are very proud about that. Even the PhD student, he is now doctor, he's in this room. So from TRL 1 to TRL 9, we monitor a crane with real virtual reality, and this work was done in my lab, and we do it in industrialization with TRL 9 on the construction site. So it was used for that. Really, this is very interesting, this collaboration between companies and our lab. We have, since 2019, this kind of robots, drones, and more with energy. So we design a robot to make digitalization for any digitalization and to scan the energy of any buildings, but we will go further for the impact on environment and following the rules of French in this area. This is the scan. We have the robot, and we have the software and the hardware, and this is the video. Please, the video. This is my PhD student. This is me scanning my lab. In 2 minutes, the building was scanned. This is one of our friends. We can use it also on the construction site. So look to the video. The person have the plan of their buildings in 2 minutes, and then there is a software linked to the software, and we can say the consumption of the energy of their buildings under the French rule law. So it can be A, B, C, E, and F. And this tool of digitalization, which is now ready, gives us a lot of ideas to work on energy, on environment, of the quality of the air. And it really changed. So we can make geolocalization in the same time. This is the new field that we are working on it. So we did some work on blockchain in really interesting work. We didn't put it for industrial action yet, but it will be. So as you understand, I am repeating that we are working on new technology, but we are working on new method of collaboration. We are working together, and we are working on the complexity of the project, and we define what does it mean complexity of project in construction, which is very, very important. These kind of method that you can see. This is the software that we are working on it for, we call it Coppola framework for blockchains. And this is my team, and I will finish by that. Presentation of my team.
Centrale Lille's mission is both education and research. We train our engineers and doctoral students in the skills of tomorrow, focusing not only on industrialization and robotics, but also on new ways of working and innovating in the construction sector.
My thesis is about the integration of two concepts. The first one is lean construction, and the second one is construction 4.0. Lean construction can simply be defined as producing more with less. Less human effort,
3D printing,
fewer defects, fewer delays, less waste, and fewer errors. For point zero is about automating and digitalizing practices in the construction industry to improve productivity, efficiency, performance, and sustainability in the sector.
My thesis is being carried out as part of a partnership between Centrale Lille and Briqueterie du Nord. The main objective of my thesis topic is to reduce the energy consumption and carbon footprint of the brick manufacturing process and to improve operational performance by applying new technologies and methods inspired by Industry 4.0.
I am working on the AWP method, which is a project management approach for complex construction projects. The goal of this method is to meet deadlines, reduce costs, improve on-site productivity, and prevent accidents on construction sites. Among the objectives we aim for with this method is to implement it within a French or even European industrial ecosystem. And the second objective is to adapt this method to residential and commercial construction.
We need to invest in new technologies, but it's absolutely essential to invest in people, in skills, and in aspects of collaboration, because that kind of investment is truly sustainable. We're not planning to stop there. We want to build a European center of expertise in the field of construction in this region, which we would call your construction, and for Centrale Lille to be the benchmark in this area.
Thank you so much. I'm ready to answer any question or any comment. Thank you.